Walking alone is not a tragedy. It is a statement of strength. The world wants you to believe that being in company is synonymous with value, that if you don't have the approval of others, you are inadequate. That's a lie. Loneliness, when you face it head-on and without excuses, is where true character is formed. There are no masks to maintain and no applause to distract you. It's just you, your mind, and your ability to remain steadfast, even when no one is watching. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. Marcus Aurelius ruled millions but wrote his reflections in solitude, as if the weight of the empire was less significant than the weight of his own mind. Seneca taught that those who depend on the crowd are doomed to live in slavery. Epictetus made it clear that freedom begins when you learn not to need what is beyond your control. This is the true core of strength. Stop fearing silence and start using it as a weapon. Solitude does not weaken you, it reveals you. It shows who you are without embellishment or validation. And here you have two choices: run to noise and distractions, or stay and face what you were afraid to discover in yourself. Those who choose the latter become stronger, more disciplined, and more aware of their inner strength. This video will not romanticize loneliness. It won't say it's easy, it's hard, uncomfortable, and sometimes even cruel. But it's the most real training there is to become unbreakable. Here you will learn 8 practical lessons that will help you turn silence into freedom, discipline into a shield, and loneliness into the foundation of your growth. If you stay until the end, you will understand that a man or woman who learns to walk alone is never really alone. 1. Start your day by mastering your mind. The morning is a time when the mind is still like an uncontrolled horse that feels no reins. As soon as you open your eyes, thoughts, worries, and tasks begin to gallop, trying to carry you away without direction. If you don't take control in that first moment, you will spend the rest of the day following impulses you did not choose and emotions you do not control. This is where your inner strength is tested. Those who can control their minds in the morning can also control the direction of their lives. Many people wake up and immediately look at their phones, giving their attention to messages, notifications, and social networks that dictate how they should feel. From that moment on, they cease to be masters of themselves, giving up their freedom to the outside world. Stoicism teaches the opposite. Before allowing the world to determine your mood, you must impose your own mental discipline. Marcus Aurelius wrote every morning reminding himself that he would encounter ingratitude, deception, and difficulties, but he did this not to depress himself, but to prepare and strengthen his spirit. The key is to start the day with a mind that listens to reason, not to the whims of the environment. Controlling your mind in the morning is not just about thinking positively. It means training yourself to be clear and decisive. Get up with the decision that the first thought belongs to you, not to anxiety or habit. A simple and powerful practice is conscious breathing. When you open your eyes, instead of rushing into your routine, take a few minutes to breathe deeply and exhale slowly, commanding your mind to focus on what is under your control. This act, though minimal, is a statement: I choose how my day begins. Gratitude is also a weapon in this arena. Not empty phrases or pretty words, but a real recognition of what you already have and what can be a source of strength. If your mind seeks what is lacking, you will live with a sense of deficiency. If it recognizes what is already there, you walk with inner abundance. Seneca taught that those who depend on the crowd are doomed to live in slavery. Epictetus made it clear that freedom begins when you learn not to need what is beyond your control. Another step is planning your day, not dozens of tasks, but a clear definition of the most important battles. Ryan Holiday calls this winning the morning, because those who start with direction and discipline are less prone to distractions. Consistency is more important than perfection. Small but consistent action always beats big intentions that never get fulfilled. Managing your mind in the morning also means protecting yourself from excuses. The inner voice that says, 5 more minutes, then I'll do it, is your real enemy. Every time you give in, you train weakness. Every time you insist, you train discipline. Epictetus said that freedom begins with self-control, and it is tested in small things. Walking alone means supporting yourself. If you depend on others for motivation when you wake up, you will remain in chains. If you wake up determined to take control, loneliness will not bother you because you have the most reliable company inside you, your own will.
2. Make gratitude your daily shield. Gratitude is an invisible shield that you carry into every battle. Imagine a warrior going into battle without protection, vulnerable to every blow and every wound. This is how many people live. Every day they go without a shield that could protect them from the poison of comparison, envy, and complaints. Gratitude does not eliminate difficulties, but it softens the blows, gives perspective, and reminds you that even in the midst of chaos, you have something to work with. The world pushes us to want more, measures value by what we don't have, and instills a sense of lack. This is fertile ground for frustration. Stoicism teaches that true wealth is not in the abundance of things, but in the ability to appreciate what you already have. Seneca said, "The poor are not those who have little, but those who crave more than they need." Practicing gratitude does not mean closing your eyes to what you lack, but opening your eyes to what you already have and using it as a source of strength. The real benefit of gratitude lies in its practical application. Every morning, by listing what you're grateful for, you reprogram your brain, not with magic, but rationally. The perspective of scarcity is replaced by the perspective of value. This approach reduces anxiety. Instead of constantly wanting more, you recognize that you already have a solid foundation for moving forward. Turning gratitude into a shield means using it in moments of attack. When someone hurts you with criticism, remember what you have already achieved. When you fail, remember the battles you have won. When loneliness weighs you down, remember that you are still standing and capable of taking another step. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "What happens is part of nature, and a strong person does not complain, but acts with what they have." This is the core of gratitude, not to regret what you don't have, but to make good use of what you already have. In practice, this is simple, but it requires consistency. You can keep a notebook and write down 3 specific things you are grateful for every day. Don't repeat general phrases, write down the exact details, a conversation you had, the health you maintain, the discipline you apply. It seems insignificant, but these are the invisible bricks that build a mental fortress. James Clear demonstrates in his works the power of small habits that accumulate over time. Gratitude is one of them. Practicing it daily changes your approach to life. You no longer walk as a victim of circumstances, but as a person who realizes that even in small things, there is abundance. Complaining is the language of the weak. Gratitude is the language of the strong. Those who complain give their power away to the world. Those who give thanks take it back. When gratitude becomes your shield, you don't just survive. You move forward with confidence. External noise may try to knock you down, but your mind knows nothing can take away what you already value. Gratitude is not conformity, but clarity. In a world that pushes you to feel inadequate, walking gratefully is the most rebellious act of all.
3. Make solitude your training ground. Solitude often seems like barren land where, as many believe, nothing can grow. Those who run from it see a desert, stifling, empty, and useless. But for those who dare to stay, solitude becomes a quiet training ground. Every step, every silence, and every thought is an exercise that strengthens character. It is not emptiness, but an invisible gym where emotional resilience and mental clarity are formed, which the noise of the world will never provide. Society teaches us to fear loneliness. We're told that being alone means being incomplete, that without company we're worthless, that we need the approval of others to be significant. This way of thinking creates crowds of people who are unable to stand on their own 2 feet without external validation. Epictetus taught that freedom begins within, and no one can train it without learning to live with themselves. To make solitude a training ground is to use it as a test and a teacher. In silence, inner voices that are usually drowned out by distractions, anxiety, fears, memories, insecurity, come to the fore. This is where most people break down and seek escape, but the Stoic becomes stronger. Those who know how to be with their thoughts without running away understand that there is no enemy more difficult than their own I. Properly used, solitude does not isolate, it refines. It is like iron placed in fire. It heats up, deforms, but becomes stronger. Walking alone forces you to face the weaknesses hidden in company. It teaches you not to need the approval of others, not to depend on company to feel valuable, not to run away from yourself. Inner independence is the foundation of true strength. In practice, you can turn solitude into training with simple but powerful actions. Walk in silence without music or distractions, allowing your mind to breathe without external stimuli. Have a writing session where you let your thoughts flow without filtering them, observing what occupies your inner space. Stoic meditation, in which you remind yourself that you only control your mind and actions, nothing else. Each of these exercises is like lifting emotional weights, repetitions that strengthen the spirit just as the gym strengthens the body. Discipline is key. It is not enough to simply spend time alone. You need to approach it with intention. If you use it to immerse yourself in negative thoughts or distractions, you are not training anything. Ryan Holiday writes, "Silence is the space where the great battles of the mind are fought. Without solitude, there is no concentration. Without concentration, there is no discipline. And without discipline, there is no freedom." Making solitude a training ground does not mean permanently removing yourself from the world. It means creating a place and time where you become your own teacher. The world fears solitude because it does not know what to do with it. The Stoic turns it into strength, finding an opportunity to know oneself, to temper oneself, and to prepare for future trials. What is a desert for many becomes a forge for you. When you learn to train on this ground, you are no longer afraid to be alone, because your most powerful company is your own strength.
4. Forging character through the body. The body is a forge. If left unattended, it rusts, loses strength, and becomes a burden. If you work on it with discipline, it becomes an instrument of strength and a reflection of your character. Many believe that strength lies only in the mind, but they forget that the mind dwells in the body. When the body is weakened, the will suffers. Forging character through the body reminds us that every drop of sweat, every physical effort, and every chosen state of discomfort is direct training for the soul. Modern life offers an excess of comfort. Soft chairs, buttons that do everything for you, screens that keep you in place for hours. This excess weakens us. Nature created humans as active beings who must move, overcome cold, hunger, fatigue, and pain. Stoicism understands this clearly. Chosen discomfort strengthens more than any motivational speech. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we must be a rock against which waves crash, strong and stable.
Forging character through the body is training not for appearance, but for inner strength. Endurance, running under the sun, lifting weights, holding your position when tired, all this forms an indomitable will. Seneca said, "Luxury and comfort lull us to sleep, while difficulties awaken the true strength of man." Every time you choose to sweat rather than give up, you train your spirit to be unyielding in the trials of life. In practice, this does not require any complications. You do not need expensive gyms or complex programs. All you need is a daily walk at a steady pace, bodyweight exercises, and sports that challenge you. The goal is not to create the perfect body for external approval, but to have a body that is capable of obeying your mind. Physical training becomes a metaphor for life. When the barbell seems unbearable, you have two choices: let go or hold on a little longer. The same choice arises every day, at work, in relationships, in achieving goals. If you train your body not to give up physically, your mind learns not to give up emotionally. James Clear notes that repeated actions shape identity. A disciplined body creates a disciplined personality. Loneliness is strengthened when the body is prepared. Walking alone with a weak body causes insecurity, fear, and fragility. Walking alone with a trained body means confidence, resilience, and strength in every step. Not because you are physically invincible, but because you know you can endure more than you thought. This inner knowledge permeates all areas of life. Forging character through the body does not mean perfection of appearance. It means using the body as a tool. Every morning when you choose to move, every workout you complete, even when you don't feel like it, every physical pain you endure without giving up, these are reminders that you are in control of your will. A Stoic warrior is forged not only in the silence of the mind, but also in the efforts of the body. By combining both aspects, mind and body, you achieve powerful harmony.
5. Nourish your mind with true wisdom. The mind is a fertile field. If you sow garbage, weeds will grow and choke everything of value. If you sow seeds of wisdom, over time you will get deep roots and fruits that sustain your life. Today, more than ever, we live surrounded by noise, superficial information, and opinions masquerading as truth. Everything we consume becomes part of us. It shapes our thinking, reactions, and decisions. Feeding the mind with true wisdom is not an intellectual luxury, but a necessity for inner strength. The problem for money is that they fill their heads with whatever appears on the screen: endless TV series, manipulated news, empty conversations. This is mental fast food, instant gratification, but long-term weakening. Stoicism offers the opposite approach. Marcus Aurelius wrote his reflections not for entertainment, but to remind himself of what was essential and to improve himself every day. Seneca devoted his letters to strengthening the soul, not wasting time on gossip. Feeding the mind with true wisdom means carefully choosing what to let in. Just as you would not willingly put poison into your body, do not allow debilitating ideas to fill your head. Sources of wisdom can vary: books, reflections, conversations with people who elevate your thinking. Ryan Holiday returns to Stoicism, showing its practical application in the modern world. James Clear explains how habits shape destiny, and this is entirely consistent with the discipline of Stoicism. The practice is simple but radical. Set aside time each day to feed your mind with content that brings you closer to who you want to be. Reading a passage from Meditations, listening to a thought-provoking audiobook, writing down your own reflections in a notebook, all of this is food that leaves a mark. If the mind constantly consumes wisdom, it learns to respond calmly to attacks, clearly to doubts, firmly to temptations. True wisdom is not always comfortable. Sometimes great thinkers cause pain by revealing truths we would rather ignore. Weakness, dependence, fears. But it is precisely in this blow that there is an opportunity to grow. The contrast with everyday noise is obvious. Empty entertainment temporarily takes us away from reality, but does not change our character. Feeding the mind with wisdom can be uncomfortable, but it strengthens the spirit. The result in practice is impressive. A mind with deep roots does not collapse at the first obstacles, does not need external approval, does not afraid of silence, because it uses it for reflection. Every word you read, every idea you accept, and every thought you ponder becomes an invisible brick that builds your inner fortress. 6. Turn your solitude into service. Solitude is like a mighty river. If you keep it only for yourself, it stagnates and rots. But if you direct that power towards others, it becomes life, energy that nourishes everything around you. This energy, born of the ability to walk alone, can be used simply for resistance or transformed into service that inspires and supports others. The mistake many make is that they consider solitude to be absolute isolation, as if separation from the world were the goal. Stoicism teaches the opposite. Solitude is training that the goal of virtue is always service. Marcus Aurelius, bearing responsibility for an empire, saw his own duty to serve society. Epictetus, who lived most of his life in slavery, taught others to find inner freedom. Seneca, involved in Roman politics, repeated, "No one can be happy thinking only of themselves." Solitude is the forge, and service is the goal. Transforming inner strength into helping others means applying the clarity and discipline developed in silence for the benefit of people. Service does not require grand speeches or recognition. It manifests itself in small, consistent actions that arise from your strength. Listening to someone without judgment, giving sincere advice, doing your job with excellence even if no one notices, or participating in projects that improve the lives of others. Each such action transforms solitude into a bridge between inner strength and the outside world. Service is not a weakness, but an act of strength. Only those who are full can give without emptying themselves. Only those who stand firm can support others without falling. If loneliness has taught you to be self-sufficient, it also gives you the ability to share without fear, without the need for approval, and without expecting reward. In everyday life, this manifests itself through teaching others what you know instead of keeping knowledge to yourself, showing empathy in a world full of indifference, and devoting energy to causes that go beyond personal gain. Every action reinforces the goal. Power that remains closed is not power. Steel is forged not to be stored, but to be used.
Ryan Holiday emphasizes that life is a duty, not a right. Your discipline, calmness, and strength are tools for service. James Clear adds, "The most lasting changes are those that affect others." When your efforts affect more than just yourself, it is difficult to give up because your life takes on a weight that exceeds the individual. Transforming loneliness into service also protects against ego. Loneliness can become a space for pride and isolation if you think the world deserves nothing. But a Stoic understands that true freedom is not isolation, but participation in the world from a state of harmony and virtue. Thus, your silence becomes a word, your discipline becomes an example, and your strength becomes a refuge for others. 7. Always respond from your inner strength. Life is like a chessboard where others are constantly trying to move your pieces. They provoke you, want to throw you off balance, manipulate your emotions, and make you react impulsively. If you don't have control over yourself, you become a puppet of circumstances, dancing to the tune of other people's decisions. But when you learn to respond from your inner strength, you cease to be a piece moved by the hands of others and become a player with a strategy. The modern world is full of provocations: social media, empty discussions, meaningless attacks,
criticism. Every stimulus requires an instant reaction. Most people give in because their strength comes from external fluctuations, not from within. Stoicism teaches the opposite. You cannot control events, but you can control your responses. Marcus Aurelius said that people are not disturbed by events themselves, but by their opinions about them. This is the essence of inner strength, deciding what meaning to attach to events before allowing them to destroy you. Responding from inner strength does not mean being indifferent or cold. It means acting consciously and decisively rather than giving in to provocation. Epictetus explained, if someone was able to annoy you, it means you gave them control. Every spontaneous response is a loss of freedom. Every conscious choice is a strengthening of power. True mastery is not about winning arguments with others, but about not letting anyone control your inner state. In practice, this requires discipline. The instinct is to defend yourself when someone attacks, to respond to provocation. But an impulsive reaction is a sign of weakness because you are acting from a place of hurt, not clarity. A conscious pause helps to develop this habit. Before responding, take a breath, assess the situation, decide whether it is worth spending energy on, and firmly resolve not to give your peace to those who try to take it away. This is an act of rebellion. It breaks the cycle of emotional manipulation. Solitude strengthens the practice. By learning to be with yourself, not depending on the approval of others, you also learn not to be destroyed by criticism and insults. Inner silence becomes a shield, discipline a sword. You respond not to prove yourself, but because you have decided to remain true to your principles. Seneca wrote, "The best revenge on an offender is not to become like them." It is a manifestation of inner strength, to respond with greatness where weakness is expected. You can practice this constantly in everyday life. When someone criticizes you, respond calmly. When someone ignores you, maintain your dignity. When a sudden problem arises, focus on the solution, not on complaints. These small, constant decisions train your character. Every time you choose from within, your strength grows because you are not a slave to the outside world. Ryan Holiday emphasizes that the real enemy is not others, but your uncontrolled reaction. James Clear adds that every repeated decision shapes your personality, and it is important to be aware of this.
8. Examine your day and hone your spirit. Life is like a blacksmith working with metal. Every day is a blow of the hammer. Every action is a spark flying from the fire. If the blacksmith never stops, the metal becomes distorted and weak. The same thing happens to you if you don't analyze your actions. Examining your day is not an empty ritual. It is an act of stopping in front of the mirror of conscience to hone your spirit. Most people go to bed tired, thinking about tomorrow or worrying about what they didn't get done today. They live under the influence of inertia, without checking whether their actions match their intentions. This lack of self-analysis perpetuates mediocrity. Stoicism offers the opposite. Every night is an opportunity for correction. Seneca wrote that at the end of each day, he asked himself what he had done, what he had not done, and what he could have done better. He did this not for self-punishment, but for growth. Marcus Aurelius practiced sincere reflection, reminding himself to be better the next day. To examine your day is to honestly face your victories and defeats, to acknowledge what was done well so you can repeat it with discipline, to acknowledge mistakes so you can learn and correct them. This balance hones character. In practice, it can be simple, but it requires courage. Writing down achievements and mistakes, assessing whether actions were in line with principles, analyzing whether you responded from a place of inner strength or gave in to anger, fear, or convenience. This act of reflection takes only a few minutes but has a huge impact, turning each day into a step toward a more confident version of yourself. Daily analysis also reveals hidden patterns. If ignored, mistakes are repeated. Procrastination, repetitive reactions to people, predictable distractions. By writing them down and observing them, you make them visible and can correct them. Loneliness is the ideal setting for such an exam. When night falls and there are no outside noises, your conscience sounds louder. Here, you decide whether to listen to it or ignore it. A Stoic chooses to listen because there is no judge more strict and fair than oneself. This sincerity strengthens the spirit, even if it is unpleasant. Ryan Holiday notes that real progress is cumulative and invisible. James Clear adds that habits are formed through small repetitions. A daily exam is a way to make sure that these repetitions are leading in the right direction. Without this habit, a lot of effort can be wasted. Examining the day allows you to turn every action into a tool for growth, discipline, and strength. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.